Students with ADD and ADHD in Ontario Classrooms by Michelle Sotile. My main research question was, what are the available resources and supports in the classroom for students with ADD, attention deficit disorder, and ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? Here are the signs that a student may be suffering from ADHD or ADD. Here are the symptoms of ADD. Frequently losing or misplacing things, daydreaming or unable to focus, unable to notice details, bored or lacks interest, poor listening skills, interrupts others, or making careless mistakes. The symptoms of ADHD are squirming and fidgeting, always multitasking, quick temper, emotional explosions, difficulty playing quietly, unable to relax, moving around in a disruptive manner and excessive chattiness. Throughout my research, the question that came up was, how do students get properly identified with ADD or ADHD? First, there would need to be a formal school evaluation. Parents should speak with the classroom teacher, guidance counselor, or principal. Information must be provided on how the student is doing at home. This is called a social history. A medical form will be provided to be filled out by the child's doctor. The school must also use a variety of assessment tools, and then there should be a creation of an individualized education program, which is called an IEP. The next question that came up throughout my research was, who funds the testing and what are the barriers? A big concern for parents is who will fund the necessary appointments for their children to be diagnosed. Funding in Canada ranges from $1,200 to $2,800, and this cost was provided by Advanced Psychology Services. Unfortunately, OHIP does not cover these fees. However, third-party insurance may cover the fees. A barrier is that low-income households are at a disadvantage if they cannot afford the proper testing. This means that the child will not receive support unless they are properly diagnosed. Further research came up through the accommodations and modifications for identified students. The Ministry of Education makes the decisions on where to allocate funding. Programs will vary from school board to school board. The funding is dependent on the child's severity. Accommodations mean that the student is expected to meet the grade curriculum expectations, but the amount of work they are to complete will be reduced. Modifications mean that the curriculum expectations are modified to support the student's academic needs and capabilities. Here are some support for students with ADD and ADHD. There are teachers for resource withdrawal programs. There are also teachers for self-contained classes. There are educational assistants in special education. There's also social workers and intensive support programs, which are called ISPs. An important quote I found from the Reflective Educator's Guide to Classroom Research, Learning to Teach and Teach to Learn Through Practitioner Inquiry was found on page 212. Teacher leaders slide their classroom doors open to collaborate with other teachers, discuss common problems, share approaches to various learning situations, explore ways to overcome the structural constraints of limited time, space, resources, and restrictive policies, and or investigate motivational strategies to bring students to a deeper engagement with their learning. Teacher inquiry is a pathway to teacher leadership. I strongly agree with this quote because throughout my research, I have found that the common theme was collaboration with support staff, collaboration with the parent, and collaboration with teachers to bounce off ideas and insights in order to help the student achieve academic success. Thank you for listening to my presentation.